Hi, if you really like Gauntlet, so I will show you all the possible popular hybrid that is practical to use in this video. All these are popular hybrid used in the CN server is proven to be PvP friendly. It has been used a lot in the mythic competition and is proven to be successful. And first and the most popular is the Heng Blade fast Gauntlet. So maybe you are using it already. And this hybrid combines two aggressive melee weapons into one non-stop pressure blade style, and the Heng Blade keep the enemy locked down while the Gauntlet deliver heavy finishing attack hits. And the combo style with the Heng Blade to build momentum through the various attack the charge skill when you do the successful parry, and use the Heng Blade as a fast attack to charge your opponents and counter your opponent and stay close to your opponents to create a pocket time for your Gauntlet's charge skill. So when the enemy is vulnerable, switch to your Gauntlet and convert the openings to your heavy Gauntlet charge attacks because the damage is really a lot to close the finishings. So after spending the Gauntlet resources, then return to the Heng Blade and build up the momentum for your next Gauntlet charge skill attacks. The idea behind this hybrid is very simple. The Heng Blade creates opportunity and your Gauntlet capitalizes from the opportunity. Here's the pros and cons. The pros is that you are using two weapons with fast animations attacks, and there is high weapon swap flexibility for these combos. And also you have a strong melee pressures because both weapons have a very strong melee pressures, and you have good mobility due to your Heng Blade and your Gauntlet dash forward skill. And you have two independent damage rotations because Heng Blade has their own rotations and Gauntlet has their own rotations. So you have two full rotations for your martial art. Then the bad thing is that your Heng Blade will lose the Phantom Soldier, which reduces the DPS, and your Gauntlet rolls the Rock Dark buff. So it has a low sustained DPS damage. The damage is much lower compared to the original build. And here's a recommended inner way you can use if you want to refer. And here's a yield priority for this hybrid build. The next one is the Twin Blade fast Gauntlet. So this is very popular also. And this hybrid combines the Twin Blade fast combos with the Gauntlet powerful finisher. So this build you start with the Twin Blade dash forward skill to build Fury and release Twin Blade fast rapid attack to build the momentums. So once the combo is done, switch to your Gauntlet for a heavy charge skill for a burst damage from your Gauntlet. So after Gauntlet finishes the skill, switch back to your Twin Blade and repeat the melee attacks. And this is a very fast aggressive rotations and it keeps both weapons dealing damage instead of waiting the cooldown. So this is a very aggressive build and very rapid attacks build. So the pros is that it has a very fast combat flow. It has a very strong mobility due to your Twin Blade dash forward skill, and you have two full damage martial rotation instead of one. You have two full circle of rotations. Then it has a very good close range pressure to your opponents, and it is fun and very actionable style of combat. So the best style is very fun. So now come to the cons. The bad thing is that it has a very low sustained DPS because it's a hybrid, and this is a bit harder to use because two weapons has their own resources. It is very hard to manage two martial with two independent resources, and both martial they are very dependent on the resources you have. So here's the recommended inner ways, and here's the recommended build priorities. The next one is Gauntlet plus Nameless Spear. And this hybrid combines the Nameless Spear crowd control with the stun skill with the heavy Gauntlet charge attacks. And you can start with the Nameless Sword crowd control to interrupt your opponents to lock down your opponents. So once your opponent is stunned, it creates the pocket time for your Gauntlet. Let's say if your opponent already used up the Searing Breeze, they cannot counter your stun skill. So your Gauntlet charge attacks is a guaranteed damage, high damage. So this build is excel in punishing your opponent's mistakes, and this creates a guaranteed windows for your Gauntlet charge supermassive charge skill. So the good thing is that it is easy to land Gauntlet charge attacks, and it has a more stable PvP combat flow because you have your Spear stun skill. Then the cons is that it is very low mobility because the Spear skill you lost the charge forward skill, and this is the lowest DPS build in the boss fight. And here is the recommended inner way. So here is the build priority. So the next one is the Gauntlet plus Vernal Umbrella. So it's a melee plus range build, and this hybrid combines the Gauntlet's close range burst with Vernal Umbrella range pressure to stun the opponents. And you can first use the Vernal Umbrella to attack safely from the range, and stun the opponent, then switch your Gauntlet leap forward for the melee combos, and the Umbrella stun skill create longer attack windows, letting your Gauntlet to deal massive large damage. So this build out a very smooth range to melee transitions playstyle, and it has a very strong crowd control. So the pros is that it covers melee and range combat. It covers all the range, and you have an easier Gauntlet combo setup because you have the stun skill. And the cons is that it is a very timing dependent rotations. It requires a high skill, so you need a very good hand and very good mind to deliver the combo, and there's more mechanic to manage for this build, which is not for the beginners. And here's the inner ways, and here's the gears. So next one is the Gauntlet plus Nameless Sword. I've already made a video for this one, you can refer to this one. Then this hybrid combine the Nameless Sword mobility with the Gauntlet heavy charge attacks. You can use the Nameless Sword to chase the enemies because you have the dash forward skill and stay the target very close, and this create a pocket for your fast movement. So when you have the opportunity of build, switch to your Gauntlet and release a powerful melee attack, and the Nameless Sword create the openings while your Gauntlet deliver finishing blow. This is a very fast and mobile playstyle. You have the mobility, and you very focus on the timings and the quick weapon swappings. The pros is that this build has a very high mobility, and you have a very fast target engagements. It's very flexible for both weapon swappings, and it has a strong chase potentials, and it's very good in the PvP. And the cons is that it has a very low sustained PvE DPS damage. It has a very low damage to the boss, and it is a very high skill requirement. Require a very good mind, good PvP skill, and it require a precise weapon swapping timing, which require a lot of the hand skill. And here's the inner way for this build, and then here's the priority for this one. So that's all about the popular combo for Gauntlet. So hope you choose one that's suitable for you. So thanks for watching. Bye bye. Most important is to have fun with this Gauntlet build. So choose the one that you like to play style. So that's all. Thanks for watching.